Preparing the live stream.
Yeah. Welcome. What's up, everyone?
Good day, everybody. What's going on?
What's up, good people? Welcome back to Triple Crowns Podcast. Triple Crowns Podcast. Welcome in, everybody. So we're joined today by Miss Caprina. And we're blessed because we're going to talk about quite a few things today, but at the top of the list is mindfulness. And one of the things we've had to deal with is stress in the pandemic, stress all the time. So we are blessed because Miss Caprina is like the queen of evading, of dodging that stress. So we're so happy to have her here, the brother Tyrone B, the brother Jean Pierre, and we're so happy to have you all, Triple Crowns Royal family. So we're going to start off with our connection question, family, and we want you to put it in the chat, put it in the comments, and that is, what do you do for stress relief? What do you do for stress relief? And let me see. We're gonna save our guests for last because we Caprina has a whole toolkit of things to use, and we're so glad she's here because she can just bless us with all of the tools that she uses. Jean, we're gonna go to you, brother. What's your stress relief?
Ignoring people. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Well, I write. I'm a poet, so I write. I might write out a lot of the emotions that I feel that somebody might be trying to take me through. I'll go hoop. I love to hoop, so that'll definitely always be actually number one. I'll talk. Depending on what it is, I definitely talk and express myself. I wear my heart on my sleeve, fortunately and unfortunately. So you're gonna know what you're gonna know immediately. Yeah, I'll leave some for everybody else. Yeah, that's good enough. T, what about you, brother?
I was muted. Let me unmute. Now, I'm going to say the proper thing. I'm not going to tell y'all what I used to do to relieve stress. All right. That's what I won't do. I won't do that because it was something that I turned to all the time for it. And it was amazing. I would laugh through everything. So that gives y'all a hint. However, now, no, now actually, I actually took a mindfulness training a couple of years ago with this organization that I was with. And so I do that, like I breathe, I take a moment and just kind of like breathe and collect my thoughts, gather my thoughts in that moment and try to focus on, just one specific or particular thing, what I mean? And not be all over the place because that's what you can't hear me.
Oh, we can hear you.
Okay. Because that, like that's how I tend to get like really caught up in the stress. It'll be 75 things going on at one time in this big head of mine. So if I can just center in and focus on one thing, that tends to help me out a lot.
So Caprina is gonna go last. So for me, I love being out in nature. If y'all know me, it's being out in nature for sure. More recently, getting into the scripture. So it's nature, getting into the scripture, and Sade. I'm back on Sade, John. Just like I was back in middle school and high school, bro. I can't let it go. And the sister has been so phenomenal. Her and the band for so many years. That's one way for sure. Blessed though, because my life partner is just so wonderful to talk to. So I'm blessed all the way around. Caprina, what you got? What you got for stress relief?
Definitely all of the above. I'm probably going to repeat what you already said. Definitely yoga. I love to do yoga because not only does it work my muscles and my body, but it also helps me with my breathing techniques. So I love yoga. I love to go for walks, nature walks specifically, where there are different places I haven't gone and seeing different things that I have not seen. That helps me to focus. I'm one with nature when I'm out there. So I love that. Again, deep breathing. And then sometimes just recognizing what I can control and what I cannot. And once I recognize that, I'm kind of better.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, family, we're looking for you. Tonight, family, Triple Crowns Royal Family. You're getting Jean Pierre's Facebook perspective, which is our super producer Shuri's idea. You're also getting the brother Tyrone B's perspective. You're not getting my Facebook perspective, and that's okay. But we're live YouTube. We're so happy that you're on. And again, we want to thank everybody for the love. So this is the first segment of our show when we do our Triple Crowns connection. Connect with you. And so put it in the chat, please. What do you do for stress relief? What helps you get through your day? What makes you calm? So we are doing that. So the next part of our show is the Triple Crowns, the Crown Jewel. I'm sorry, y'all, the Crown Jewel. So the Crown Jewel is when we find someone or some group of people who are doing work and they are unsung heroes. People who you may never know their names, never see their faces. And for this week's show, in light of the verdict in the Derek Chauvin case, our crown jewel is the jurors that sat on that case and looked at the truth and looked at the facts and found former disgraced officer Chauvin guilty on all three counts that he was charged. So for us this week, you all, the Minnesota jurors that sat that trial, are the crown jewels. You have made history. You have taken a landmark case, found the truth, had the courage to weigh the truth. I will tell you one thing that's important. It was a multicultural jury. So that tells me that America is not all lost and that people can connect when it comes to one human being being in distress and being recognized by another human being. And that's all I have to say about that. If y'all want to add briefly before we go on, and feel free if you're watching us to add into the chat, what do you think about our crown jewel, the Minnesota jurors that sat on the Chauvin case and found Derek Chauvin guilty of all counts? Jean?
It's pretty emotional, one way or the other, no matter how you look at it. Could be a victory viewed to some, could be just another day to others, could be, some people think we've evened up the score. Scoreboard isn't even. I don't believe justice has been had yet. There's still another transaction, and that's the sentencing. I think we all need to wake up and realize that nothing's over till it's over, right? We still have a lot to fight for. We still have a judicial system and a justice system that is still just against us, still corrupt. And not just us, just everybody. Everybody's feeling this one way or another. So everybody's affected somehow. And if everybody's affected, then that means justice is not served. And we've got to realize that. Peace to the family. Can't imagine this happening and having to sit through this over and over and over. But we all marched, we all played a part, we all spoke up, we all had some sort of feeling. If you had any kind of heart, any kind of feeling, any kind of emotion, then you understand the struggle. You may not accept it, you may not like it, you may not love it, you don't have to, but you understand. And that's what we got to get to, that understanding. universally. Once we get there, then we can continue to push forward together. If we don't understand, we speak in different languages, it ain't gonna work. So I'm just, I'm praying that everybody involved, jurors, the family that's lost, and the families that have and continue to lose loved ones to senseless violence, are healed, are encouraged somehow, some way, because nothing's going to bring that loved one that's lost back ultimately. So is justice really served if they don't come back? Or is their name really, gone in vain because it was brushed under the rug? So many different angles you can look at it. So Tyrone, I digress. Your turn, brother.
Tyrone, you got 2 minutes, bro.
You said I ain't even gonna need it. I mean, he hit it. He hit the nail on the head for sure. I mean, I had that conversation with someone. A lot of people was like super excited yesterday, and I get it, right? Like when the verdict came in and they were like guilty. I get it. Just for me though, I've seen in these cases, before where it's like, we don't know what's going on. Did they just say guilty right then and there because they seen the people outside and they knew they was getting ready to burn the damn city down, shut it down, and it's like, okay, let's get a little bit of control over what's going on now. And then, like John said, once it comes to the sentencing, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the weeks, the months to go by and the sentencing. I want to see if the 3 counts that he was charged and found guilty for, if it's going to actually weigh out as it would for someone else, right? Who's charged with these same accounts. So that's what I'm waiting for. Let's see what happened. Let's see if they throw the books at this dude.
Kaprina, you want to chime in for us? I know you got some thoughts, girl. Give it to us. She about to hit us hard, y'all. Brace yourself.
Honestly, I just feel as though time will definitely tell. Time will tell. Again, once we get to the sentencing, like you guys said, and we find out just how much time he's going to get, then I can say, okay, justice has been served, justice has not been served. So time will tell. That's all I have. Don't want to say too much about anything because I just want to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And you rolled us right into this beautifully, masterfully, John, Tyrone, and Kaprina, right into Triple Crown's Q&A. So family, at 6:15 on the dot, we're going to try to start a 30-minute interview. Tonight is our lovely sister, Kaprina, and Kaprina is a school counselor. I have seen her in action, helping kids de-escalate from stress, helping classrooms de-escalate, helping staff members, such as myself, de-escalate from stress. And let me tell you, if you know me, John, Taya, if y'all know me, y'all know I can walk away, but can't nobody walk away like Kaprina. Kaprina can walk away. And so that is why she's here. It is a blessing. I know I keep saying that, but it truly is, because it's awesome that you can build with somebody that has that peaceful vibe. Not that everything is perfect, but knows how to navigate to the peaceful vibe. So I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna ask you off the bat, Kaprina, because we hear this word mindfulness. What does that mean?
Absolutely. So basically, mindfulness in a nutshell is acknowledging your feelings, your thoughts, and your bodily sensations. So being in tune with how you're feeling, trying not to get to a place where you are judging yourself and your feelings, but just recognizing what the feelings are and then making appropriate steps to help you in those moments. Definitely. Yep. And so sometimes when we talk about mindfulness, we hear a lot of people say that there is, breathing involved, which it is. You can do some deep breathing. Sometimes people may do what they call like guided imagery, where you will take some deep breathing, but you will also follow someone through a certain story. And through that process, they'll get you to kind of relax, recognize exactly where you are in those moments, and not to judge yourself in those moments. And so that's something that you do. You focus your attention on a specific experience. How am I feeling in this moment? Noticing those feelings. And again, not judging yourself in those moments. So that's kind of what they call like formal mindfulness. And then they also have what they call informal mindfulness, where you're doing what I just said. You're applying those same principles day to day. And then you're focusing on what is currently going on in your life. Okay, this is where I'm at. Let's focus on this. How can I get through this moment? And again, not judging yourself where you are, but just allowing yourself to go through that process, allowing yourself to feel those emotions, and then make the appropriate next steps. And a lot of times I want to say, especially as African Americans, we don't want to be in tune with our feelings, especially male, some male. I'm going to say that. I can say that on this podcast, but definitely it is okay for you to recognize your feelings, because if you don't know what you're feeling, then you don't know how to proceed. And so that's the first thing that you have to be able to get in tune with. Self, where am I right now? A lot of times we deal with mindfulness in what we call the cognitive behavior therapy. So basically recognizing that your thoughts dictate your actions. And people that recognize that process can do mindfulness. People who cannot recognize that mindset aren't comfortable with doing mindfulness because they don't get it. And so it's something that I love personally, because it also helps to center me. So when I'm all over the place, which is where my mind is most times, that helps me to kind of say, self, step back, you're only one person, get it together. And then from that process, I'm able to do some deep breathing. I'm able to address those feelings that I'm feeling, and then work towards a positive solution for me. And so I highly recommend meditation, mindfulness meditation. There's also what we call progressive relaxation techniques, which is also a part of the mindfulness. And that's basically where you are releasing like tension and stress. So for instance, if you can't go to sleep, right? Like you have insomnia, or you're up late. Sometimes you can do progressive muscle relaxation that will help to relax you to be able to go to sleep. Or if you're at 1,000, you're getting ready to fight, you might need to do some progressive muscle relaxation to help calm your body down so that you are thinking clearer and you're able to make the right decision. And so basically with like progressive muscle relaxation, you're literally you are tensioning like different parts of your body as you inhale. And then as you exhale, you're releasing parts of your body. And so I do that a lot, especially with students in the school system. When they're really frustrated, and I know they're at 1,000, I might take them through that. And sometimes it works. Sometimes I might just have to do just breathing. True story. I was working with some students last year, and we had like an after school program for students that kept getting in trouble. And when they came into the class, they were just pointing fingers. She the reason why I'm like this. He the reason why I'm like that. I can't do nothing. Talking about everybody but themselves. And so in that moment, I gave them their space to talk for a couple minutes. And then right after that, I literally took them through mindfulness meditation. And you will be surprised how quickly it worked. It really worked. They were calmer. They weren't even worried about who did what. They were just relaxed. They were able to receive more of what we were trying to get them to understand in this after school detention. And so I just feel like it is a practice that we really need to learn how to adapt. It does wonders if you're able to recognize that your thoughts dictate your actions. But if you're not, then it's going to be a struggle for you. And so we also have progressive muscle relaxation. We have mindfulness meditation. We have mindfulness walks. We also have mindfulness eating, where you can actually sit down and take a piece of chocolate and really enjoy everything that you feel in eating that piece of chocolate. Being present, recognizing the different taste that you taste in that chocolate, recognizing the color, recognizing the smell, recognizing how it feels when you open up the chocolate wrapper, just being intentionally mindful and thinking only about that, as opposed to who's getting on your nerves and what you got to do when you get home that you don't want to do. So being able to focus right then and there on that present moment can really help you to be able to understand and appreciate mindfulness.
Appreciate that, Ms. Coleman.
Yeah.
Yes,
Jean?
definitely.
No, that's great. Eating is probably everybody's dress go-to, but that is interesting that you incorporated the eating portion of it. Yeah, and I mean, de-escalating, relaxing your muscles before you about to fight, like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
Ooh. Woosah.
Tyrone, you had your hand up prior. I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah, I just wanted to, before Ms. Coleman has started talking, I wanted to just tell the folks who are already tuned in and watching to make sure that they share the live and comment questions and stuff in the comment sections. That's it. So I'm toggling back and forth between YouTube and Facebook, trying to catch comments and that good stuff. So yeah, y'all keep sharing the live, inviting folks over, let them know. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe now.
So Caprina, you spoke a little bit about the parent or the adult perspective. So my question is, how can three fathers or all the fathers that's out there share this with their children, be it old or young? And what's the difference?
Absolutely. So first of all, it's important as, males, for you to get your children to recognize it is okay to have your feelings. Again, we talked about that before, especially in the African American community. Women may be a little better with this, but I feel like males may not be, because, some people feel as though that is you being soft if you show your feelings, or we don't cry, men don't cry. But I feel like it's the opposite. It shows that you truly are in tune with yourself when you're able to recognize where you are in your feelings. And it's a process. It's a process. And sometimes trauma and our past will not allow us to be able to do that as often as we'd like, but we should really try to practice it. Know how you're feeling. It's okay. I was listening to a pastor a while back, and he said that if you have your emotions and you don't share them, your stomach is going to keep score. And it's true. You get those ulcers, you get those, diseases or whatever, because you're not able to release how you're feeling, express how you're feeling. And so I think that as men, we need to encourage our children to recognize your feelings. How are you feeling today? Sometimes you can Google feeling charts, and that will give you like a chart of different types of feelings, and you go over those feelings with your students and with yourself. Where am I today? And then once you recognize where you are, then you can continue to use mindfulness to help you to get out of that maybe. So if I know I'm at 1,000 and I'm really angry, then what can I do with my mindfulness to shift my thinking? And so shifting my thinking might be, okay, taking a walk, a mindful walk, because in that moment, maybe I won't be upset about what made me upset, but then I will be able to transfer my feelings into looking at the beautiful nature scenes, looking at the squirrels, looking at something that I may have gone down before and never noticed, as far as grass and stuff. And so just being able to, again, shift your mindset into a way that's going to help you with those feelings that you may be feeling in those moments. So yeah, I challenge you to start off by, again, you recognizing your feelings, because when we're dealing with our children, more is caught than taught. If we teach ourselves how to deal with our feelings, they're going to get it. And they're going to do the same thing. And so start with recognizing your feelings and being okay with all of your feelings. Nobody's perfect. I promise you, no one is. And so when you recognize that and you deal with your feelings, then you're going to be in a better place. So start with those feelings, dealing with your own, so that they can watch you and model what you're doing. And then they'll be able to deal with their feelings. And then once you deal with your feelings, you start to deal with the different mindfulness techniques and see which one sticks better with you. Mindful eating, mindfulness walking, mindfulness relaxation, mindfulness sitting, mindfulness standing. There are so many different types of mindfulness that you can adapt. And the good thing about the internet is you can Google anything you want to find out. And so you can look there to see what are the different types of mindfulness so that you can find out what makes the best sense for me and the feelings that I'm dealing with in those moments. So definitely.
In terms of once we connect or relate to our kids, men or, or our daughters or sons, if they have trouble expressing themselves, despite knowing that they can, or they're able to, is there any methods, any tips on easing that ability, or allowing them to do it freely without having to ask them over and over and over and over and over again?
So again, it's going to come with those conversations of maybe you being a little bit more transparent about how you deal with your feelings. How do I deal with my feelings? And a lot of times, I think as adults, we try to mask some of the things that we're really feeling because we don't want our children to see it. But sometimes they need to, because then when you do that, then it makes them want to be a little bit more comfortable in sharing their feelings. And so definitely letting them know, look, I understand this is awkward. We haven't done this before, but we're going to learn this together. We're going to do this together. We're going to check in on each other daily about our feelings. And again, letting them know that this is no judgment zone. I'm not asking your feelings so that I can punish you. I'm asking you so that I can help you. And I think when we come from a place of help and support, they are a little bit more, they're more, able to share how they're really feeling. No judgment zone. You might have to say that over and over again, and not only say it, but actually do it. Because we can say all we want, but they know.
True. So, question to that.
Yes.
Because you're right. We could say that all we want. Mm-hmm. However, if they're like, I guess that's going to be going to start to come into a trust issue, because basically, if they're just like, I can't say what I want to say the way I want to say it, or I'll be punished. And if you're just like, go ahead, but you got to be a bit respectful of whatever you're going to say. Just clean it up as best you can.
That's right.
And they're still like, I don't, what do we do?
So it's definitely going to be a process.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen overnight. Again, as you continue to speak that language, eventually something will catch them and they will be able to do that. It might not happen in the first month. It may take some more relationship building on a deeper level with you and your child for them to realize that, okay, yeah, he's not the enemy. He gets me. And again, they're going to put you to the test. They're going to put you to the test to see just how much you really are there to support them and not judge them. And so when you pass the test, then they will continue to allow you to see more of them.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's a process. It is. And again, as long as you're being honest about yourself, a lot of times, I know even with my oldest child, the things that I want her to learn, she doesn't really learn, but she watches me and she mimics what she sees. So again, you are going to be the person that's going to help them.
Brother Tyrone, it dawned on me as Sister Caprina was talking about you, and I know you letting folks in and saying hi. We appreciate y'all for joining us, but it struck me, Tyrone, I wanted to hear your perspective on this macho-ism that men and fathers have, and how do you approach a single father, two beautiful daughters. You're doing a masterful job of raising them, but what do you say to that to brothers and fathers out here of all stripes that are like, nah, I can't, if I do this, like Caprina said, you're not soft, but what do you say to that?
So personally, and y'all do know this, like last week we had multiple deaths in the family, and I was a little bit concerned at first, like oh my God, I don't want my kids to really see me like, super duper emotional. And actually, John actually was one who said, to me, like, show, those emotions. And in general, I actually don't have a problem with showing my kids my emotions. As she said, I actually think it makes for a better relationship. It makes for young folks to be able to know that you're vulnerable also, and that you're approachable, because they look at us as these macho men, right? And like, we're so strong and we tip on everything. So once they see a vulnerable side of us and understand, damn, they just as human as I am. So I would definitely encourage men. It ain't no, you're not less of a man or anything to show emotions and show vulnerable sides, and specifically to your girls. I'm saying that not I mean your boys also, but I say specifically to your girls, because a dad is the first male who they fall in love with. And what we show them and what we put out there is definitely what they'll expect and take from other men. So if we're able to show them, like, listen, I can be vulnerable, I can express myself, I can show my emotions, that's the same thing you should expect from your mate down the road. You know what I mean? It shouldn't have to be no yelling. Like, I've learned to even refrain from yelling at my kids, right? Because just as they're getting older, like, you don't have to accept that from another man. That's not the way that a man had to talk to you, and show you. So it's been a challenge. Don't get me wrong. Like, it could be a challenge because you don't want to feel like, as a father, you don't want to feel like your girls is challenging you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've run this show. But at the same time, what I have seen over the course of time, especially with my older girl, is our communication level is amazing. Like, I absolutely love it. Everything, from just everything. Like, my daughter comes to me about everything, from her site, just everything. And I love it. And I know that a huge part of that was me being open with them and being vulnerable with them. Whenever we have conversations or even an argument, I always express to them how I felt, like what their actions did to make me feel this way. And I would ask them, what did I do, to make you feel this way? And what can I do to be better for you? And then what they can do to be better for me, right? So just that whole kind of mesh up and all those emotions and showing all that stuff has definitely helped our relationship and our communication be like A1. So and I use that with everybody. I mean, people who watch and no, Octavia's watching, calling you out. Yeah. But we were talking about issues, with our children, alike and everything like that. And we talked about this, what I'm saying, and kind of like being in, like just, being open and vulnerable. So again, just to that point, I know I talked about a lot, but to that point, men and other folks who feel like you got to be, this macho hoorah guy for your children, like those are probably the least people who you have to actually put on that for, right? Like, you want to show them the soft side, the vulnerable side, those emotions from you. It will definitely make them come to you more. I'll say this last thing. I was raised by a single mother, but I was telling Octavia this. And in our household, although it was a woman, my mother ran the damn show. Like, we didn't have no say so, right? Like, we couldn't say anything. And I'm not down in the way that she raised us, but that's what they were taught, right? But I also knew that as a child, like, what I felt didn't matter. I couldn't go to her and just be open about stuff. So it's definitely important for folks to show, that vulnerable, that openness to your kids and let them come to you, because you rather them come to you than go to somebody else and get, not the right information or whatever it may be. Say that. And you said it, but shout out to everyone. Y'all keep sharing. I see y'all rolling in. We loving it. We loving the conversation in the YouTube live chat is rolling. They're rolling. I do want to acknowledge brother Lewis Edwards, who said he suffered from a heart attack due to stress and not being able to release my feelings and talk about them. So that's someone telling you right then and there, like, what stress can do to you, right? And like, why it's definitely important to release and not hold on to that stuff. And folks are definitely agreeing with you, Miss Coleman, becoming mindful intentionally. Absolutely. Yes, we do. Sometimes we need to share more. Like, the folks are here. Brother Pierre, I gotta mess with you. Somebody did say you couldn't play basketball, so I had to throw that out there because they said you couldn't play
ball.
Best.
Check.
And Nishla says, I'm seeing patterns in my oldest son that I want to get ahead of as he develops into a young man. So thank you. Yes, vulnerability is everything. Thank you, Dina. But yeah, y'all keep sharing, keep commenting, come, and I will go back to you. Or you go to.
Thank you, man. I truly appreciate that. Caprina, thank you for being gracious. I just had to get Tyrone's take and feeding off of Jean's masterful question about that. You know, this is what this show is about. This conversation is about. So I appreciate your graciousness. Caprina, without naming names, can you give us one of them times when you was in this, when you were in the school or in your environment at work, maybe a situation without going into detail that you use one of these practices? Because we need to, you know, it's one thing to hear about it and say, oh, well, you know, Caprina, she know what she's doing. She look cool as a fan anyway, blah, blah, blah. But let us know the time, because I've seen you in action. I ain't gonna give you my story. I want you to give a story where you had to take these things into place and use them and swerve on them.
Yeah.
Swerve on them.
So a lot of times when you're in the school, we already know, dealing with students, it is always a debate. Everything that you say is a debate, right? It's always a debate. If you're saying, hey, I need you to go to class, then they have to say, well, why? But, well, why you're in school? You know why you're in school. You're here to learn, but why? But, you know, and sometimes just going through that debate and that power struggle can get the best of you. And you're like, you know what, why am I even having this conversation with this student? And so in those moments, I have to recognize it's not about me. I don't need to be a part of this power struggle. I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to say exactly what the expectations are, and then I'm going to move forward. I'm not getting into a debate with the student. I'm going to continue with my clear, precise directions and my expectation for that student. If I'm trying to get you into the classroom, you're not going to have me going all over the place because you're just trying to buy more time not to get in class. I'm going to say what I have to say, and then I'm going to take some deep breaths and I'm going to walk away. That's what I'm going to do.
Swerve on them, Caprina.
It's not a power struggle. I don't have to be right. It is what it is.
Swerve on them, Caprina. Shout out to all my educators. We love y'all. Yes. All my teachers out there.
Thank you for
everybody
all
doing what they can do in this pandemic time in the school system. We love y'all. Shout out to y'all. Yes. What was I gonna say real quick?
Can I say one more thing when you finish?
Thank you for everybody that's continuing to comment and ask these questions. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much. Tyrone, don't let me forget, we got something special for the first 100 subscribers, Jean-Pierre. We got something special for the first 100 subscribers.
I won't let you forget our guest, Capri. She actually wanted to say something. I don't know if you can hear her.
I did, yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to say something again with the emotions. And we were talking about how people don't really know how to express their emotions and their feelings. I would suggest that you get a feelings chart. Get a feelings chart. You can get it from Amazon. You can Google it, and you can post the feeling chart in your house. And just, you know, daily, get your children to go to it and say, okay, how you feeling? And you go to it daily and kind of show where you are to help to start the conversation of recognizing your feelings and understanding what they can do for you. So I would definitely encourage that.
Yeah, I ain't got to go and give them all your money. I'll go ahead and create something for you. I draw a stick figure in a face for you. You can just point to it. It had 3 emojis. All right, live. $5.99. We appreciate that. And that is great for parents with kids in those age ranges. I think from the youth to even, I mean, I'm sure once you get to high school, I say middle school, probably that'll work out great. And as we get to our high schoolers, any suggestions on, I mean, we got to move away from the chart because they're going to just, you know what they're going to do. They're going to cuss us out. So is there any other suggestion for our teenage kids, young adults,
Thank you.
self-proclaimed adults
Yeah,
on how to handle that without a chart, please?
absolutely. So there are games that you can purchase. Feelings.
Does it involve a belt? I'm just asking. Can we? Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, goodness.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so definitely looking for games.
Yeah.
That would be a good way because, they always, older kids always like a challenge, and, games sometimes bring out that challenge mentality. So it could be a win-win.
All right. I'm winning with the belt in my hand, but okay. I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking.
I think the communication. So my daughter's actually in high school, right? Like she's in there, and I'm like I said, that's my oldest one. I think that communication piece is real, right? Like that communication piece is really, really, really real. And I think just making sure that kids know that they human also, right?
Yep.
And like their opinions and how they feel matters. I think that's what a lot of it is. Like I said, in my household, we ain't have no optional what we ate, pretty even what we wore at times. If my mother said this is what it was, this is what it was. And you take kids' individuality away from them. You know what I'm saying, when you do that. So a lot of times teenagers and the high school students and stuff, they're trying to find themselves, right? Because they're seeing all this stuff from these other kids. So they're trying to figure out where they fit in there. And then where they, and also not all the way going against the values and the things that they learned from at home. So that's where that communication, I think, is really big to come in and understanding. And like I say, for me, it was me opening it up to my kids, letting them know those things that bother me, my insecurities and stuff. And it was like, damn, like you have those too. Now I can tell you mine, right? And then it got that made file conversation that made me be like, okay, now I know how to deal with this. So I know when you come home and you're a little upset because it's such, whatever the situation might be, I just know how to deal with it a lot better because they open up. So when we do have those high schoolers and all them, Mancho cussing y'all, doing all this stuff, a lot of times that stuff is for attention. And it's because they're trying to figure out who they are and they want us to understand it. They think we're supposed to already know because we're the parent, but we don't. But if we, again, just communicate with them and tell a story that you've never told about, just make up a damn story. I don't care, but make it sad. You know what I mean? But show, for real, like show vulnerable. They wasn't here. They wouldn't know what you did in 1991 anyway. So, but tell them something that shows a vulnerable side and make it relatable to something that they might be going through. You know what I'm saying? And let them, again, just the human side of you. It changes. I think it changes all across the board, not just with my kids. I mean, I've worked in youth development, for a number of years as well. And kind of being in that space and doing that, like it made a tremendous, it made a tremendous change with young folks and attitudes and just them kind of like, like a different approach and how they, see you, because again, they just want to be seen as humans as well. And like their stuff matters to them also. They have real stresses, and especially now, like everybody's going through it during this pandemic, right? And like we cannot undermine the fact that young folks, teenagers, high school students, anybody is not affected by what's going on also. So yeah, acknowledging that stuff I think is good. Right, Tyrone? I know you're right. Use humor, no belts or switches. It's a comment that we got. JP,
Tyrone,
cousin,
Tyrone, and also to piggyback off of what you said, you can definitely do some role play scenarios.
Yeah.
Where you're asking them, well, how would you feel in that situation? Okay, that is your feeling.
Yeah.
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 Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that.
No problem. JP, your cousin Stephanie says congrats to you guys. Praying for much success.
Nice.
Thank you, Stephanie, and keep praying hard for the success. And JP did mention something about making the charts. All proceeds could go to the Triple Crowns from that. So
we gonna divvy that up, brother. More, please.
Yes, sir.
Jean, I don't know if you got anything on your feed that you want to share.
Nah, not at the moment. Not at the moment.
All right, so Caprina, I had to ask you this question. The tactic strategy that you use with the young person that wanted to try to get out of the class or was going back and forth with you, Can that be used with adults?
Absolutely. Recognizing that it doesn't have to be a power struggle. And you shutting down the power struggle. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But it
Definitely.
takes practice.
Practice, yes.
Now, is that from
Practice makes better.
a woman's perspective, or is that is that gonna work for us men? Because
So I would say yes, because when you're talking about guys, a lot of times guys will say they're not for the back and forthness. They don't want to have to continue to deal with a rebuttal. So, trying not to go there, it really helps.
that could be extremely challenging with a female from a male's perspective, because you could say that, but then there's gonna be some withholding. What do we do?
Give me an example.
Oh Lord, it made me go there. So let's just say you're in an argument.
Yes.
And you're trying to make your point, and you don't want the back and forth because you already know not too many. Everybody's got an opinion, and some may be more opinionated than others. And there's no way to really stop, because you can try and stop, you can try and exit that, but that opinion, them daggers are going to continue to come.
Yeah.
So at some point, you're like, you know what? I'm not saying nothing else. I'm done. And the other is like, well, we might not be done. Come back here.
Yeah.
And you like, I'm not coming back. And then like, well, you know what? You ain't getting anything. It's a wrap for you right now, whatever that wrap may be. And you can fill in the blanks. But, you may not get any cookies, may not get any ice cream, may not get any milk, who knows, whatever. So you may not get any dinner. I don't know. You can call it what you want. But what do you do? How do you handle that? I mean, and I'm kind of shifting this over towards not only from a kid to a parent, but also to a husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, relationships, even when in work, this is applicable in a lot of different situations. Inquiring minds would love your input.
Okay. So honestly, what I would really, really honestly say is that you have to get to a point where you're trying not to argue. You're trying to argue, because if you're arguing and the person is arguing, then nothing is going to be accomplished, right? And so honestly, you really should try to understand rather than be understood in those situations. And say, okay, if this is the person that I love, then I'm not going to make the assumption that this person is out to get me. I'm just going to try to understand through all of that other stuff what he's really trying to, say, and then move forward. Because if you're not trying to understand, then it's just going to continue to be a back and forth exchange, and you're not going to get anywhere. So somebody has to be the bigger person.
That's some great advice. We're going to edit that out because it's going to blow up my whole.
You know what? I didn't want to say, I was like, John, you digging a hole, brother. You are digging a hole.
Oh, well.
I'm gonna jump in here.
Please.
We get good stuff. I like to mention it.
Yes.
So first thing is, Octavia's comment is right. You protect a person over the argument, right? For right, not just trying to be right. Absolutely. Octavia. Then my good friend says, please charge my brother for his therapy sessions. I love it. I love the comments. I love the family comments. But just to add, like, I'm not an expert or anything like Miss Coleman, but I've dibbled and dabbled a little bit in certain trainings. I think that just the other part to that though is in relationships and when you're dealing with stuff, I think because we've handled things, and I would just say in not the best ways before, it's going to take practice, right, to adapt. So whomever decides to be the bigger person, whether it's the male, the female, whomever does it, it's going to take multiple times because you become used to, what so it's going to take time to break those bad habits. So being consistent you know, with your approach and the way that you handle it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really important to it. And the person will eventually, at least I hope so, will eventually grasp on, you know, and catch it. But as long as you're being consistent and patient with them, and knowing that this is something new, this is a new, it's going to help us out in the long run, you know what I'm saying? But like, this is new, and we got to really work through it. So being consistent with it, you know, it can get done. But y'all women gotta be the bigger person sometime too. But I'm not gonna get into that right now. You know, I'm not gonna get into that right now. Because time is almost up, and that would be a whole nother segment. So we'll wait. But being consistent with each other, whomever it is, you know what I'm saying, and understanding that if it's something that's going to help the relationship grow, just put the pettiness aside, you know, the ego aside, and work with it.
And if you can't put the pettiness aside, or you really can't work with it, then maybe seek some therapists. You know, someone that can maybe be the arbitrator in a sense to kind of help you guys get where you need to go. Because they may be able to have some specific tools for you and for the other person to help you be successful.
I have one more quick one. In terms of, we all think we have these great relationships. I think I have a great relationship with my oldest daughter. I think we're just dope. But what if she don't feel that way? And what if I'm wrong about that? How, as a parent, as a father, how can I negotiate that and really assess that throughout, you know, our relationship, and make sure that I'm on the same plane and on the same level, if possible? Any techniques, anything that I can do?
Absolutely. So the first thing would be to have a conversation often with your child, you know, just to see if you guys are on the same page, or is it just what you perceive and not her? And really listen to her. Again, listen to her without being caught in your feelings. And then go from there.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful. We are family, Triple Crowns Royal Family. We are nearing the end of our show. This is our peaceful journey time. This is the time just before we end. We're going to give you some words of peace and love and beauty. Before we end, though, we have a couple of announcements. I know I have some. Brothers, do y'all have anything that y'all want to share besides sharing the live and subscribing or anything else?
No, be here next Wednesday. All y'all that's here, make sure y'all bring somebody back with y'all next Wednesday, so that it could go up. Please post it to your Facebooks, you know, if you have a YouTube channel, if you're on IG, any social media platforms that you know have, you know, please share, get folks to subscribe as well. And William's going to share about a contest, so it's, you know, it's an incentive in it for those who come and go, you know, and come and do subscribe. So I'll let you do that. I'll just read a couple of things. I love you. I'll just go out with some. We're doing. I love you all. Awesome. This was great. Talk about it. Someone commented to you, brother John, just saying, ask your daughter how she feels about your relationship, which is exactly what Miss Coleman said. But yeah, I mean, like, folks, this is what I like to see. I love when folks are engaged and enjoying what's going on, because we could be sitting up here thinking we are just the shit. I mean, no, I can cuss on this one. That's right. We could be sitting up here thinking that we are just like rocking it out, and they're like, what the hell is going on? But everybody is definitely engaged. We're getting mad love in the comments. Very good chat with you guys. These are comments that I'm reading that's coming up live on YouTube. So this is great.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. John, anything before I peace out?
I was just, you know, that was an example. I'm good with mine. So, you know, I may have a couple issues, but let me tell you. No, I'm just kidding. So realistically, you know, I appreciate everybody. Katrina, thank you so much for your advice. It's been a joy to hear you give tips and tricks. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
No doubt. We will have you again. For sure, because, you know, we got a lot of parents out here that need some help, me included, you know, whatever, not too much.
We are all a work in progress.
Yeah, there you go. See, we're a work in progress.
That's it. That's right.
You know, it's been a troubling week, troubling month. troubling year, and I keep saying it over and over again. Tyrone, you touched on one of my good friends, man, my brother. We got to let our emotions out, y'all. But we have to do it in a controlled manner. I'm one to talk, but we all got to control ourselves. It's a lot of things going on in the world. My condolences to everybody who's passed away, everybody who's sick, everybody who's going through it. Reach out to somebody and talk, y'all. We here. Each one of us has an open line you can tap into. We are more than happy to talk to anybody, talk you off the ledge or maybe walk you to it. I don't know. But definitely it's all love and it will always be love. Tune in next week. We got Lamar Moss talking about LDM ballistics, how to get your guns the right way, get your licensing, and being safe, and protecting yourself the right way. Just want to say peace and be safe, y'all. Love you all. Appreciate the support. Back to you, Will.
You, brother. And again, Ms. Caprina Coleman, thank you so much for your tips and words of wisdom and the peace and solitude. I want to end quickly by saying that the first 100 subscribers, John and Tyrone, will get a free 30-minute concert with my original music. If you are interested, you got to be the first to 100. Okay, first 100. And then we have a download that we're going to offer later. We're not even going to talk about that today. We're not even going to talk about the download for the song, for the show. We're not going to talk about that today. That's coming later. First 100 subscribers, you will receive a concert from me. We'll try to put my band together in this pandemic time so we can do a little bit of praise and enjoy ourselves. I want to read this quick scripture really quick. I want to lift up the name of the young Sister Bryant that was assassinated by a police officer just yesterday, 15 years old, called the police for help and was shot down like a dog. Of course, the case is starting up and ongoing. This is just some word of comfort. Psalms 11, 5-7. The Lord tests the righteous, but his soul hates the wicked and the one who loves violence. So just something to remember. All of those people who are doing these horrible, wicked, evil, and violent things, and it feels like to us, man, they never get their retribution. It says the Most High hates the violent and hates the wicked. So thank y'all for tuning in. It is 7 o'clock, straight up and down. Tyrone is dying. I don't know why. I guess we're going to find out offline. Go ahead. We got a few seconds. This is our show, Tyrone.
Don't read no comments.
Your sister said you owe her money and she want her money. She want me to read it. You asked, do you beatbox? Do you do beatboxing, brother William? And they want the concert to be like a versus. They are excited for the concert. Oh shucks, up in there. These folks are crazy. These people are crazy, man.
Hey, did they talk about the letters? Anybody got any letters? William?
Oh, we had
see y'all next Wednesday on Triple Crowns podcast.
Not for William out there.
Peace and love.